In life, we have an unlimited number of choices. And yet, sometimes we feel stuck because we keep making the same bad decisions for ourselves over and over again. We feel out of control. But never forget that we always have the ability to make a decision as our best selves and discover our best selves. 2020 was the worst year of my life. Severe acne, weight gain, isolation, and extremely low self-confidence. I absolutely hated the way my body looked and felt. And worse is I felt trapped to repeat the same unhealthy choices day after day. Oprah brilliantly said, difficulties come when you don't pay attention to life's whisper. Life always whispers to you first, but if you ignore the whisper, sooner or later, you'll get a scream. I don't want anyone to get offended when I say that I believed myself to be fat and ugly. But I have to be honest about how I felt about myself at that time. When I was in my lowest low, these are the horrible words that I used to say to myself. And that's why, for me, at the time, they felt true. Because I believed them. It's like we're always looking at ourselves through a mirror. But our perception of ourselves can change based on our mindset. From things we say to ourselves like, my cheeks are so fat and pudgy, versus my cheeks are rosy and glowing. Or my eye color is so boring and ugly, versus my eye color is so beautiful and unique. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder, and all I wanted was to find myself beautiful again. And then finally, there was a shift. For me, the shift that's finally got me to stop seeing myself as fat, ugly, and unlovable started small. The shift happened when I finally started to realize there are a lot of things in our lives that we cannot control, but there are things that we can. And so I started small before I took any action. And rather than being a victim of my circumstance, my mindset started to change. And it's mind-blowing when we realize that we can change our current lives by simply reflecting on the choices we make. Yeah, you can't change the past, but you can change your decisions right now. If you're currently going through something similar, I hope that I can give you some advice on how I finally transformed my mindset, which ultimately led to the change in my appearance and turned into something that I am so proud and confident of today. The first step is to fuel your mind with positivity and to fuel your mind with the idea that change is possible. First and foremost, I needed hope for change, and you need hope for change. And I know self-help can sound so cheesy, but it's not. When you start diving into the world of self-help, I couldn't get enough. First, definitely find an outlet you love. For me, I really loved reading, so I started reading every self-help book that I could get. For months on end, for about 2 years, I read at least one self-help book a month. But if you like listening to things, I also recommend swapping out some music every once in a while for a positive and uplifting podcast. Or if you're on YouTube, swap out something fun for something educational, like a self-help video or transformation. Because honestly, before you feel strong enough to even take the first steps of positive thoughts and stories of success that will slowly move you towards action. But take it slow and don't be hard on yourself. It's really simple. Believe that change is possible. Because at first, I was hopeless and I didn't even believe that it could happen to me first. Now first I want to talk about relationship with food. I have to be honest, if you're someone with an eating disorder, so for example, binge eating or extreme dieting as a form of reward or punishment, healing takes time. And I know that's something you probably don't want to hear, but it's not something that went away overnight. I never preach that change is easy or that transformations are quick, because the truth is that mine weren't and mine still aren't. It was hard for me to have a good relationship with food, and honestly, this is still something that goes up and down for me. It's not something I feel like I have already conquered. To have a good relationship with food means making the health-conscious decision for your future self over a potentially unhealthy reward in the moment. Which is so hard when unhealthy, high-calorie, delicious food is shoved in our face so much throughout the day through different advertising and social media, movies, TV, and everything else. So much so that eating unhealthy has become normalized and is way more convenient and cheap to get fast food. Maybe the healthy option isn't as fun, but the option that's healthiest for your future self is far more rewarding. The only reason for that is because humans are creatures of habit. But Habits can all be replaced. I always talk about this, but I used to eat hot Cheetos like every single weekend, have Coke with every single meal, eat out, I don't know, probably every single day. And limit, who is she? I didn't ever really tell myself to stop. I didn't know what limits were when it came to eating or drinking things. But since we're talking about also losing fat, these are a few things that helped me that I would definitely recommend if you are overweight and food is an issue for you. These are some really quick tips that help me. One thing I recommend is cutting out sugary drinks. For me, that meant switching to water rather than having alcohol, sugary drinks, sweet tea, anything really sugary and sweet was completely cut out. One thing that really helped me was carbonated water and getting used to the flavor of carbonated fizzy drinks. That kind of helped me with the feeling of like opening a can, drinking something similar to a soda, but that just helped me personally during that transition. 2 is do not buy junk food. Do not keep it in your house. I guarantee you for every unhealthy snack or food that you could possibly want to eat, there is a healthy alternative if you just look. 3 is cook at home more often than not. What finally worked for me was setting a goal of eating at home a minimum of 5 days a week. And I will preach this forever because that one small step made me so productive, motivated. My meals were more efficient because I knew exactly what I was going to eat and I wasn't tempted with the thought of eating out because my meals weren't ready. So all of that kind of snowballed into positive and healthy change. And of course, one of the side benefits was noticing that my skin did clear up a lot more. I didn't realize before how sensitive my skin is to sugar until I started to cut it out. Now I know my skin is sensitive to sugar, and if I have sugar, I will break out. And that's not to say that I don't eat sugar anymore, because I do. I just know that it is a trigger for me, so that I know that I can cut back in certain areas, minimize it wherever I can. Now I'm conscious of it. Next is move your body. I had not been working out at all. I did not exercise. I did not have a gym membership. I didn't even like to run, none of those things. So I really needed to start small. And if you're in my position as I was then, start small. Because really, when I would look in the mirror, when I would see a scale, I didn't even like to take photos of myself. That's why I don't have a lot of photos from that time. Because all I would notice was my flaws and the weight that I hadn't lost yet. So that's why you need to enjoy the process. If you're focusing on tracking the habits, that will help you to finally see the results, not the other way around. Fall in love with the process of moving your body. Walk to work, walk to class, walk during your lunch, take up yoga or dancing or any type of training in the afternoon, even if it's just a couple days a week. Get your body moving. I was scared to go to the gym for an entire year, and there are still some machines that I don't know how to use. You're gonna be out of your comfort zone, and that's gonna make you want to stop, but just don't. Or something that you commit to, that you have to sign up for and actually attend, can help hold you accountable. But find something that you enjoy. One thing that really helped me was listening to an audiobook that I really enjoyed only while I was working out. So that was also an extra step that could help encourage you in that way. Next, one thing for me is visually tracking my progress. There are so many tools that you can use for this. I would recommend getting a journal and writing down your habits that you can actually check the list off every single day. Alternatively, you can also get a physical calendar. You can get this at Target, Walmart, any Office Depot supply store, or you can even just do it digitally. And with that one, you can start today. Go to Google Calendar, make yourself a habit tracker, and start with one habit. If nothing else, I challenge you to do that. It is so encouraging when you track doing anything daily. Your one daily habit could be, I walked today, or your one habit could be, I journaled today. And when you see that you've actually had a few check marks for the week, they really start to add up and your wins start to outweigh your unchecks. Even if you only did it 3 days out of this week, that's more than the 0 that you did last week when you were just thinking about doing it. Now there's actually some action there. Next is reflect. I finally came to terms with the view of myself when I reflected on my thoughts and the words that I was using about myself. Reflecting for me became habits like journaling and meditating because I needed the time and space to analyze my habits critically, because it really is up to each of us to take responsibility personally. No one's gonna come and save you if you feel ugly, unwanted, not beautiful, overweight. Nobody else is going to come and save you. You need to do it for yourself and not for anyone else either. Changing is so hard, y'all. That's why people don't like to do it, because not only does it take time, like you can't even see the finish line. Okay, there is no finish line. What you need to focus on instead is the small accomplishments that you can make every single day. And those small accomplishments will start to matter. Feel joy and happiness when you reflect on that one daily habit that you did. As for meditation, that helped me personally to realize that I am more than my thoughts. Also, a super simple concept, but I think it was the book The Greatest Secret, not The Secret, but The Greatest Secret, that helped open my eyes to the idea that we are not our thoughts, and that helped when I was meditating as well. I just felt so liberated when I came to that conclusion. Like, nobody teaches us how to deal with this shit. Nobody does. Like, businesses capitalize on the idea that women feel insecure about themselves. Like, I didn't know that just because I thought something about myself didn't make it true. I thought because I thought it, that made it true. Does that make sense? And anyways, it took me over 2 years of yo-yoing back and forth to really get these habits into place. Now they turn into not just options, but non-negotiables. I'm beautiful, and you are too. Don't ever call yourself ugly, please, even if you're kidding. Now, my journey is always ongoing. I will never stop reflecting, shedding my old self, sometimes even falling back into old habits, but build a sustainable routine. Life is gonna go on anyway. Are you gonna go in the wrong direction or the right direction? And now I will say, yes, I am way more strong and confident in my body, although my weight still has the ability to fluctuate and change. But now that doesn't affect the way that I love myself. I love my body and my shape in all sizes, in all forms, but ultimately it is up to you to accept yourself for who you are. If you have any stories or can relate, please let me know, because I would love to converse with you guys and learn a little bit about you. And if you have any advice that could really help other people, that's all I've got. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll catch you in the next one.